Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, I'm just here to say I'm starting out on this new YouTube channel thing. This is all brand new to me, so it's like, you know, it's a new experiment for whatever. Wow. I just realized, like 15 years ago, I got into a scrap, and this whole side of my face here got smashed in pretty bad. And it's looking like the plastic surgeon guy didn't really do a good job because I don't know. Can you guys tell? Is this side drooping? Does it look like this side's like lower eye? I don't know. Maybe I'm like, freaking out. I don't know, whatever. Yeah, like I said, I'm not like your average YouTuber guy. I don't really have anything specific that's going to be on this YouTube channel. It's basically just for entertainment purposes. I'm going to spew a whole bunch of really weird, fucked up ideas that most people are probably going to think, that motherfucker's crazy. But in reality, I'm not crazy. I'm just basically, like, I have a lot of time on my hands. I've had a debilitating illness since I was about 13. It's called Crohn's disease. A lot of people out there probably know what it is, and a lot of you probably don't. Crohn's disease is a inflammatory bowel disease. It affects your digestive tract. And the difference between Crohn's colitis and ileitis is that Crohn's disease can affect your entire digestive system from like the top of your throat all the way out, your back end. And being that I've had it since I was 13 and I'm 46, that's some odd years, around 25, 26, I had my large intestine removed, and that caused me to be like, permanently unemployable. Not that I can't work, it's just unfortunately in our modern society, I can't work enough to pay for how much it costs to be sick. So I get stuck on disability. Thankfully, I live in Canada. Woo! Because in Canada, they actually kind of take care of their sick people a lot better than some of the other places on the planet. Which is one of the things I'll probably get into in these videos is I'll be telling you about like my perspective on life, the universe, and everything. Because it is my strong belief that like we are completely connected to the entire universe, the whole entire cosmos. It's like a web of like, I don't know if you want to think of it as like a spider web spreading out from the center of the universe, connecting to every single living thing that could possibly exist. It's all connected and sending electrical information back and forth all through it all, like the multiverse and all that other kind of stuff. So yeah, I'll be talking about aliens. I'll be talking about our ancestry with aliens, because yes, as far as I'm concerned, humans aren't entirely species that not all of us evolved originally here on Earth. Some of us are, a offshoot of a alien species that came to visit us billions of years ago and hung out with the Sumerians, the Aztecs, the Mayans, and the Egyptians, because those are the main civilizations I've noticed in the research I've done over the years that tend to have a lot of hieroglyphs pointing to beings that don't quite look like humans. And I'm of the mindset that historians and artists of those time periods, they were different. An artist would be creative, embellish, and create something artistic. But they're historians, the ones that kept track of their history and made the hieroglyphs that were about their history. They didn't really do a lot of embellishing, as far as I'm concerned, from my own personal perspective. I'm not a professor. I'm not educated like that in any way. Like these are all just my own personal perspectives and my own ideas. And yeah, so I'm pretty certain that there's a portion of us that are like the ancestors of aliens. Most people are like, that guy's fucking crazy talking about fucking aliens and that we're like ancestors of aliens. But you look at the cave paintings, you look at the fucking bones of the giants they found in the ground. They've done DNA tests and all this shit. The proof is more than there. It's more than obvious. It's just, we've been taught for so long that no, that's fantasy. It could never happen and blah, blah, blah. It's kind of ridiculous, really, because in reality, yeah, it's most likely the case. We were invaded a long fucking time ago, billions of years ago, or hundreds of thousands of years ago anyway. And our evolution was tweaked with in some way, because there are people that still are kind of like Neanderthals, I guess, but they're just evolved Homo sapiens. And then there are people that are exactly the same, really, physically, no different. Just the way we think and the way we perceive life, the universe, and everything is completely the opposite from like your basic norm of society. So something got to be something to that. If it's there, if it's a duck and it looks like a duck and it walks like a duck, it's probably a duck. So that's my theory. If you see something enough and it repeats enough times over and over again, and enough people are reporting these things to be happening, well, that's probably happening. The big thing is if that ever does become a reality, it's going to change humanity forever, and it takes away the ruling class's ability to keep us under control. Uh, there's another video for later too. See, I speak about all this stiff stuff like it's serious crap and it's like shit that's actually happening in our world. But to be honest, it's really not that important. Like the fact that countries want to drop bombs on each other and humans want to fight about their sexuality, their whether or not they're male or female, the color of their skin, part of the world they were born in, whatever. These ridiculous arguments that humans have with each other is really pointless. And the only reason why they exist is because the controlling group of the world wants to keep us fighting with each other so that we don't pay attention to what the fuck they're doing. So if we would all just get off our high horses, learn that we can disagree with each other and still get along, uh, we'd probably do a lot better off. The whole planet would probably do a lot better. But unfortunately, we don't. Unfortunately, we cling to these petty ideologies and these petty things that make us fight with each other and whatever. And it's just ridiculous, really. We don't need to be fighting with anyone. Like I have lots of friends that are Christians. I personally do not believe in God. I don't believe in Satan. I don't believe in some omnipotent dude hanging out in the clouds, fucking predetermining what my life path is going to be. That's not predetermined. Your destiny or your fate or how your life is going to play out doesn't actually take form until you make some sort of like conscious choice or make a conscious decision. All paths and all possibilities are open to you until you pick one. When you pick one, then that path becomes a reality. Until then, anything's possible. So we got to stop letting these asshats control us, for one. Number two, we got to really stop fighting with each other. There's nothing to fight about. We're all Homo sapien. There is no such thing as racism. The race of people that live on planet Earth are Homo sapien. Every single being on this planet is a Homo sapien. We're all Homo sapiens. So that's our race. So if you're fighting about race, it ain't that. It ain't race. You're fighting about culture. You're fighting about where someone was born. You're fighting about someone's genetics because of who their parents were. That's what you're fighting about. When you say racism, the reality is you're fighting about culture. You're fighting about heritage. You're fighting about uh, beliefs. These are all ideas, and these are all personal things. I'm Irish, English, and French. I really don't care if people like me or not because of that. That's irrelevant. You know what I mean? Like a color of somebody's skin, where they were born, what religion they happen to have faith in, whatever. It's all personal. And I don't have a problem with people who have faith in some sort of institutionalized religion. If it works for them, makes them happy, and helps them treat other people with kindness and tolerance, then fucking rights, man. Go for it. Knock yourself out. Have a fucking party. It's good. It's a positive thing. Just because I don't believe in that kind of shit doesn't mean that I think it's evil or horrible or something bad. I just don't. I choose to believe something else because of what my life perspective has shown me. Other people, they believe what they believe for their reasons and it's personal to them. But I don't have to agree with them in order to like them. I don't have to see what they see in order to understand them. All I have to do is listen, but not listen to reply, listen to understand. Because most people in our society these days, what they're actually doing when they're listening to you is they're not listening to you to actually hear what you have to say. They're listening so that they can actually reply. And that's not the same thing. It's slightly different. listening to understand a person's point of view is way different than listening to reply. Like, you can just hear something and then your brain will give you an autonomic response to what they had said if you just give a base half-assed listen. But if you really, really are true to understanding what some dude is saying or some person is saying, well, you're going to listen to every freaking word in their statement because you want to understand the statement. You don't want to just give some ass fart fucking reply just because you don't want to be impolite. The polite thing to do is to actually pay attention to what the other is saying so that you can, like, respond accordingly. The other thing I gotta say is I'm not really that serious of a dude. Like, you're gonna find out eventually as videos progress that a lot of the time I'm just gonna be really fucking weird and do really weird shit and say some pretty weird stuff and probably look pretty weird at the same time because I'm just a weird dude. That's my thing, man. Uh, Plus, I can be witty. I can't be witty on command though, but it comes when it's needed and natural, like anything else, I suppose. The other thing is I have no problems with people leaving comments and shit. Like, by all means, feel free to comment all you like. It's not gonna make a difference to me. If I like your comment, I'll probably give it a thumbs up. If it's negative and nasty and mean and just has a lot of like you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that kind of crap, I probably won't even fucking read it because there's just no point, right? Like, if somebody's going to be that negative and that fucking, you know, nasty, I don't give a shit what their opinion is. I only care about people who have love in their heart, tolerance in their mind, and the ability to accept other human beings for who they are and not try to change them. People are who they are and they like what they like. And we shouldn't be judging each other on, well, you have a penis and I don't, or I'm white, you're black. Your eyes look funny, mine don't. These are ridiculous fucking things to be fighting about. And some of them are like the primary reason why our species, Homo sapien, our race, is segregated. It's why we fucking infight with each other all the time. And it's why the governments are able to get away with what they get away with. It's the reason why the world is in a complete fucking shambles. And if you don't see it from my point of view, that's totally fine. I understand that, but you have to look at it. It's the exact opposite of what I would think would be a healthy, functioning society. We don't take care of our sick very well. They get chucked to the gutters and made live in poverty just because they can't fucking work and shit. That's disgusting. Uh, Money is like God to pretty much everyone, to use that word loosely. But people don't worship an almighty deity anymore. Even if they say they do, what they're actually chasing after and worshiping is a fucking imaginary concept created by some fucking rich male asshats from, like, 5, 6, maybe 1,000 years ago. They created all this shit and we're still flogging this dead horse that maybe this social situation worked 150 years ago when there was like half the population on the planet that there is now. With the population we have now, the operating system is completely inadequate and does not fucking work whatsoever. And the fact that, like, the North American continent and some other countries on the planet are still clinging to this fucking oil shit and these petroleum products when solar power and wind power has been around for a while and it's infinite as far as we know. There's always going to be wind and wind will always make electricity. So we have affordable, renewable, relatively harmless energy sources available to us. And the only thing stopping us is that fucking imaginary concept called money. Now all the governments keep saying, well, it'll cost so much money to convert from petroleum to wind and solar. We just can't afford to do it. Well, the scientific community's already stated that we've passed the point of no return. We have damaged planet Earth permanently. We've already reached that point. Now we're standing on the precipice. We continue to go any further with these carbon burning petroleum fuel shit pollution crap. Planet Earth won't be able to sustain human life for another 100 years. Within the next 100 years, we're going to have to wear an environment suit to leave our house, and our houses will have to become hermetically sealed with artificial oxygen pumping around. with recycled O2 because we will have damaged our atmosphere so fucking horribly that the air will become toxic. And we're seeing evidence of it already with the diminishing the pollinators. They're diminishing drastically. They're even refusing to reproduce, just like pandas. When animals in our natural habitats start refusing to reproduce and propagate their own species, that's telling you there's something seriously wrong with the balance of our environment. Our environment is not in balance. We are out of tune with the universe. We have not been taking care of the planet the way we were supposed to. Humanity is supposed to be the caretakers of the one thing that keeps us alive and keeps us in existence, planet Earth. Without planet Earth, we got nowhere to go. Living on the moon is a pipe dream. Colonies on Mars ain't gonna happen. Not anytime soon anyway. And traveling to a distant planet outside our solar system, good fucking luck with that one. We don't have the technology for that. Had we have continued with the space race from the 60s, we might have actually even left our solar system by now. But something obviously happened back in the early 70s that scared the shit out of them, and they didn't bother going back to the moon, and they reeled back the space program big time. Because back in the 60s and 70s, they had plans to go to Mars after they were done their exploring the moon. They planned on going to the moon a whole bunch of times to explore the thing. They were even going to put a base there and try to get to Mars. But for some reason, they stopped all that. So, to put a point to all of that, humanity has stagnated in its evolution. Sure, our technology has jumped by leaps and bounds, and great things have happened in that field of technology and machines and the things we use. But the species, Homo sapien, we ain't done much evolving at all in the last 100 to 200, 300 years. We have not really changed as a being for a very long time. And humans are well overdue for an evolutionary jump. We're well overdue for it. And if that evolutionary jump ever does happen, a lot of these infighting and these small petty differences between humans will vanish. We'll just realize that it's petty and we don't need to be fighting about it. We can solve these issues without having to be like at opposite sides, like as if it's a war. Like humans have this, for some reason it seems like they have this inability to understand that we're not fucking at war with each other. Like every human on the planet is not your enemy, and every other human is not every other human's enemy. We're all, for lack of a better term, brothers and sisters. We're born of the same planet. We come from the same planet. Countries are imaginary, borders are imaginary. When you get to the border of Canada and the United States, do you actually see a line there? No, there's fucking nothing there except for a little border booth with some guards. And on either side of that, there might be a little bit of a fence and then just open fucking forest. So, how in the fuck is there an actual border there? It's imaginary. These are just things that these governments and these other individuals have told us is real. And we've all just said, okay, it's real, man. So I'll do what I'm told. And none of us really actually fucking think for ourselves. The reality is, I am a inhabitant of the planet Earth. The entire fucking planet is my right to exist on. I have the right to live anywhere on this ball of Earth I wish. And a government is just a way of saying, this is mine, it belongs to me. And you can't come in here because it's my country and this is my flag and I have pride and patriotism because this is mine. Well, it ain't fucking yours, asshole. It belongs to planet Earth. And planet Earth is a living, breathing organism. It's a life form. Okay? You can't own a life form. Earth is not our slave. She's our mother. She gave us life. And she's continuing to give us life, even though we're behaving like a horrible, nasty, incurable virus, destroying our home, destroying our planet's ability to sustain us. Because once we're gone and extinct, Earth won't die. It'll just change the dominant life form on the planet that can actually survive in the environment we fucking created. So maybe it's time we start doing some rethinking about some of the dumb shit we do as humans. And money, it's not that important. It's just a means to an end. It pays the rent, it buys food. Maybe if you're lucky and you can make enough money, it lets you travel. But that's my whole point. We shouldn't have to pay to explore our world. No one should. Money should not prevent any government, any person, anything from doing what's right and changing our energy resources from what they are to a more solar and wind based technology. That is what's right. Continuing to burn petroleum products is just stupid. Plain, dumb, stupid. And the only reason why it still exists is because the rich, fat fucking pieces of shit that have all this fucking money and don't give a flying fuck about anyone else but their bank account and their family, they're clinging to it because they're afraid they're not going to have control over the population anymore. And they're afraid that they're going to lose their cash cow. Instead of just being a smart motherfucker and going, well, if I sell all my fucking oil rigs and give all my oil to whoever the fuck wants it, take that profit and convert it into a solar farm or a wind farm, or fuck it both, because you can have a solar farm and a wind farm on the same fucking plot of land. And 4 acres of solar panels and windmills, you're going to be producing a shitload of fucking energy. And the excess that you're not using, you can sell back to these asshat governments that are bulking the fucking technology and stopping it from being spread out worldwide. Solar power is so much fucking better than fucking nuclear power or petroleum power or fucking even hydroelectric dams. See, hydroelectric dams aren't so bad because they don't burn up the freaking water. They just use rivers. They block off a river and they use the pressure of the water against the dam to spin the turbines to create friction that creates electricity. It's the same fucking thing a windmill does, except a windmill doesn't block a river, doesn't destroy wildlife's habitats in the process. A windmill just stands 50, however tall they fucking are. They're pretty fucking big. I've seen a few of them. But they're silent as shit. The blades barely fucking spin. Like there's whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. You can hardly hear them. They fucking hum, and that's about it. And you have to be pretty damn close to the base of one to hear the fucking thing hum. So these people that are saying, oh, windmills are too noisy, they don't fucking make any noise. And the noise they do make, you can barely hear. And then solar panels are completely silent. They just sit there and rotate and follow the sun and collect solar energy. That's it. So what's the big fucking problem? I don't know. The only thing I've heard so far is that it costs too much to change. Well, it's either spend the fucking money to change, or in 100 years there won't be a planet for any children to live on. Any of your any of your children, any of your children's children, and the children after them, there ain't going to be an Earth for them to live on. We'll all be dead within 100, 150 years. There won't be any humans left here. So we have to stop the dumb shit we're doing and start using this freely. Think for yourself, man. Question everything. Don't listen to what the government says and go, oh, well, the government said it, so it must be true. No, fuck no. Just like, oh, it was on TV, it must be true. Fuck no. Find out for yourself, man. If there's something that you see that sparks your interest and you're curious about it, get off your fat fucking ass and go check it out on your own. Go look. Use these. Use this. Stop relying on fucking the government to tell you what to think, tell you how to behave, to tell you what to do. Yeah, it's the same kind of on a basic level, kind of not really the same, but kind of similar. Like I'm 46 years old. I've been dressing and, styling my hair like a fucking punk rocker since I was like 13. And people are like, well, you're in your 40s now, man. Why don't you like start dressing more appropriately to your age? What the fuck does that mean? More appropriately to my age. Hey man, when I was born, nobody fucking handed me a fucking rule book saying that when you turn this age, you have to dress this way and behave this way. So if that book was never given to me at birth, there ain't no book in existence that tells you that you have to be anything at any certain age. You can just be who the fuck you want and be happy about it. You know, just be happy. That's the whole point in life. The purpose to being alive is enjoying your life as often as you possibly can, being as happy as often as you possibly can, and leaving people with a positive and, good outlook on the person or being that you are when you leave their company. Leave people with a happy, positive memory of you, so that when you're no longer here on earth, people really just have good things to say about you. you know Now, not everybody's going to like you, and you could do absolutely nothing to warrant their dislike. Just you being you is the reason they don't like you. Don't worry about it. It's not the end of the world. Not everybody on the planet is going to like everybody else on the planet. That being said, just because you don't like somebody doesn't mean you have to fucking hate on them or be at war with them. You just don't have to be around them, and just choose to not be in their frame of radar or whatever, and vice versa. If you don't like somebody, don't be around them. But don't talk shit about them, and don't start a war with them, and don't pick fights with them and shit. That's just stupid. You know? Just like these guys that like walk up to me. I'm a skinny dude. Like, I'm 130 pounds wet because of my Crohn's disease and shit. So, and I get big fucking roid monkey muscle fucks coming up to me trying to pick fights and shit. And I'm like, dude, don't even fucking bother. You're not intimidating me. You don't scare me. And you're talking. If you actually really wanted to fight me, you wouldn't say a fucking word. You just walk up and hit me. Right? So since you're standing in front of me, puffing your chest out like a fucking Red Robin, trying to be like all intimidating, I know right off the bat, you have no intentions of swinging that clenched fist. You just want to talk and intimidate me to make me go, oh, please don't beat me up, Mr. Big Muscle Monkey. Oh, no. Why? Not going to happen, pal. Sorry, street punk here. I've had to fucking put up my dukes way too many times in one lifetime to fucking be intimidated by some dumb ass monkey, fucking roid monkey. Now, that's not to say I know a lot of dudes that fucking lift weights, and they're awesome guys, and they're fucking the sweetest dudes I know. Lots of love in their heart and shit. But there are these fucking morons out there that think just because they're big muscle heads, everybody should be afraid of them. Well, sorry, buddy, you're looking at a guy who just doesn't have that fear. I've been knocked in the head too much. Maybe it's a brain thing. I have no idea. But even when I should be intimidated, I don't get intimidated. And no one should ever have to feel intimidated by another human. That's just, again, part of that thing I was talking about earlier. It's stupid. It's moronic, and it's beneath us. As a species at this point in history, that kind of shit is definitely beneath us. We should have evolved beyond that garbage by now, especially when you're a grown adult. That's like fucking high school shit, and it still exists in life when you're like in your 30s and when you're in your 40s. Like, when are these fucking asshats ever gonna fucking grow up, man? They're constantly doing the same shit. It's ridiculous. I don't know. But that's like a 28-minute long video now that I've just rambled on about. Fucking, I don't even remember what the fuck I've been rambling on about. Whole bunch of shit. Anyway, but that's basically what this is all about. There will be other videos in here too that don't include me sitting here fucking rambling on at you about nothing and everything and other stuff. But hopefully, if you do watch this video, please subscribe. That would be awesome. I would love to have more subscribers. That would be really cool. Two's kind of low. But I am really, I am talking about nothing really. It's a channel about nothing, kind of like that Seinfeld show years ago. This is a show about nothing. Well, this is just my ideas and my thoughts that currently pop into my head whenever I go live. There's no script. I didn't write nothing down previously before I started talking. I just turned on the go live button, and whatever comes to mind comes out my mouth. There ain't much of a filter. So yeah, my topics jump around a lot, and they probably will continue to, because that's just the person I am. But yeah, that being said, I'm going to log off now and share my video with whoever might want to watch it, and hopefully people dig the shit I'm going to be talking about. I will get more into that fucking alien ancestry shit thing, because I really do believe that humans were fucked with by aliens at some point in our ancient history when we were still cave people and drawing on caves and shit. Something happened. Yeah. A lot of stuff. There's evidence all over the universe and in caves and on planets and on the moon and on Mars. So it's overwhelming evidence. I'm pretty certain we've been visited. I'm not, yeah, I'm positive that there's probably fucking beings from other places already here and we just don't even know it. But yeah, have a good day, guys. Remember, find your kindness, hold on to it because we all have it. Be tolerant of the cultures of others. Try to understand them because understanding another's culture just makes you more intelligent and gives you more knowledge. The more knowledge you have, the more power you have. The more power you have, the more able you are to influence others to have the same mindset. And I'm not trying to say control anyone. I'm just saying show them a different perspective and open a new door for them so that they may choose to walk through it. It's all personal choice. And perspective is something that always grows and changes. It's not set in stone. You can change your perspective simply by having new information come into your mind that alters the previous perception that you had before. Same with ideas. An idea is something that is meant to grow. All these wonderful guys who left us all these books that taught us so much, they didn't write those books to have it be the end all be all of what they were writing about. They wrote those books so that someone else would read them and be inspired to carry on what they started. That's what university is supposed to be for, but it isn't. All these university professors are like, this is doctrine because it's in this textbook and this man wrote it, so this is what it is, and there is no other room for growth. Well, fuck that. A professor in university is supposed to be encouraging you to think outside the box and go beyond what is inside those textbooks. Those textbooks were written to inspire you, the reader, to carry that idea further and to expand on it. So question everything. Look for new information on things that are supposed to be set in stone, because they're not. Expand your horizons, look for your own answers, find your own truths, and don't accept anything less. Because this life is yours, it's the only one you got, and the people who are in control of it, yes, there are a group of people that own fucking everything and have all the fucking money. They don't want you doing that. They don't want you thinking for yourself. They don't want you finding your own answers, and they don't want you looking for your own truth. They want you to be a mindless automaton, wake up, go to your indentured servant job, take your slave wage, go home, go to sleep, watch your eye candy bubblegum TV, and repeat, rinse, and recycle. That's what they want you to fucking do. They don't want you to look up from your TV screen. They most definitely do not want you paying attention to what they're doing. And they most definitely want you to continue to infight. They want you to continue to bicker and bitch about each other. And they want you to continue burying your nose into your TV shows and your job, your job. And to be honest, your job is not who you are. It's just a means to an end. It gives you that imaginary concept called money, which isn't real, because if you look at a dollar bill, it doesn't say money, it says banknote. Or even in some cases, it says credit note. That comes from the old world. And I'll get into that in my next video. I'll have to write that down so I remember to get into it. But in my next video, I'll get into all that old world stuff because a country is only supposed to be able to print money, banknotes, that represent the amount of gold they have in their bank. And I can tell you right now, no country has trillions of dollars of gold. Not one. So all the money that's been printed and floating around in currency today has no real material backing because that whole thing was created by an older society that was based on when nobility and the wealthy had wealth, they had wealth in the form of gold, silver, rare jewels like diamonds, rubies, sapphires, things like that, real treasure. And that treasure was put into a vault, a bank. And that bank wrote you out banknotes, credit notes that represented the amount of treasure you had in your account. Just like a country, they would have treasure in their treasury. So if they wanted to spend that treasure, They would get a banknote, take that banknote to whoever they wanted to buy shit from, give that banknote to them. And then when that person brought the banknote back to the bank would transfer the jewels from your treasure chest to the other person's treasure chest. And that's how economics started. Well, at least a basic understanding I have of it anyway. But in the modern world, no country on the planet has the amount of money they print. They don't have that much money in gold, jewels, or rare anything. There just isn't trillions of dollars worth of that shit on the planet. We haven't sucked it out of the earth. We haven't dug them out of the ground. No country has that kind of gold or treasure in their treasury to back the money they print. So most of the money floating around in our environment and in our society today isn't backed by anything real. It's backed by empty numbers in a computer system in a banking institution. So money is an imaginary concept. The sad part about it is so many people have just accepted the idea that, well, this is worth this, so that's what it is. So they were told that this piece of paper has this kind of worth, and they just went, okay, it's worth that then. I'll take it. Without any thought from their own brain, without any previous investigation as to why this piece of paper has value. No, they just fucking accepted it and moved along. And now we're sitting here in the year 2018. Humanity has stagnated as a species for evolution, and our technology jumps by leaps and bounds. People suffer all over the planet in poverty. Even the working class is suffering just as bad as the poor people nowadays. And the rich still live the same lavish lifestyle they always had. And they have absolutely no clue what it's like to actually live in the real world. For the wealthy people of our planet, they don't know. They just don't know. And I'm talking about the elite wealthy, the ones that are at the top 5% of the population, that 1 5% that has so much fucking money you couldn't even imagine what it would look like. They've never, none of their family members, none of them have ever really experienced what true hardship is like in the real world. Because to them, we're all just imaginary. We don't really exist. We don't come into their field of vision because we're nowhere near in the financial bracket they're in. So they never have to see any of this shit. And they don't really care about it. As long as their bank accounts are staying fat and getting fatter, they don't give a flying fuck what's going on in the rest of the world. As long as it doesn't damage their profit margin, they're happy as pie. Right? And half of them don't even fucking run their businesses. They just sit and live off the fucking insane amounts of money that their ancestors created, and they're living off of inherited wealth for generations. They do not want you thinking for yourself. No government or controlling asshat wants you to think for yourself. They want you to be this mindless automaton that I call sheeple, because that's what most people are. They're just sheeple doing their job from day to day, not questioning anything, not looking for any kind of answer, and just toeing the line until they die. And personally, I don't see that as much of a life. You gotta question things. You gotta find your own truth. You gotta make your life what you want it to be, and you gotta do it in any way you can. Just don't harm anyone else. Don't take advantage of somebody else's kindness to better your life. Bring them with you. If you find somebody who can help you get to a better place than even they're in, take that person with you because they helped you get to where you are. So bring them along. Don't leave them in the shadow. Don't step on someone else's head to advance your own life. That's just leading you to a place where you're not going to get any further. It's just going to bring bad, negative energy down on your head and karma, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's just not a very good thing. So, as I said, this video got a lot longer than I intended it to be, but I do tend to ramble and I do tend to babble. But there is some, I do talk about some stuff that is kind of there. But now I'm off to go wander the city of Winnipeg, Manitoba in Canada with my little video camera and see what strange and unusual things I can find as I wander around. The other day when I was wandering around, I found a cop car stuck in a doorway. I thought that was kind of cool. You don't see that much. And the cop literally, like I said in my earlier video, he literally parked that car like perfectly in the doorway. Couldn't believe how he threaded that needle. Pretty cool. But let's hope the universe and the day takes me to something cool. And if I find some nifty shit to post, I will post it. And you will see it. Da-da-da-da. All right. Peace out, motherfuckers. Have a good life. Treat each other with kindness and stop fucking fighting with each other. Bigger fish to fry than each other. Get it? Peace.